Welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be discussing gentle parenting versus permissive parenting and how those two are actually very different, and everyone seems to confuse them or think that they're the same thing or don't even know that permissive parenting exists. So let's talk about it. Okay, I have my bluey cup, which I need to refill, and I'm ready. First of all, I want to talk about gentle parenting and my experience with it. I had two very different parenting styles existing in my house, and looking into it, I had one gentle parenting style from my mom, and I had an authoritarian / abusive parenting style from my father. So I had these two styles existing in my house, and both of them created different relationships and different results with each parent. I will discuss the pros and cons of each one because I don't want to blindly say that one parenting style is better than the other, although I do not encourage abusive parenting styles at all. And I do think that some parenting styles have way more cons than pros. So just to have everything under consideration, I want to talk about my experience. First of all, I had a gentle parenting parent who, looking back, gentle parenting in the early 2000s when I was a kid wasn't a thing like it is now. It wasn't, I don't even know if that existed. It was just how my mom parented. And for her, gentle parenting was, although she maybe didn't hit all the marks of what gentle parenting may be defined as today, her style was of gentleness. It was of love. It was to come to you when you were facing pain or when you were facing challenges, and to come to you with love, with open arms, with a hot meal, and with a warm drink, and with blankets and, hugs. Like, that's the type of mom that I had. Extremely sweet, but not gentle parenting doesn't have to be sweet. Gentle parenting is, instead of sticks and stones, in order to parent a child, it is conversation, it is one-on-one, it is attention, it is kind of leading you to the answer or leading you to the solution, and treating you, in my personal opinion, like an adult, like a human. Not even like an adult, like a human. When we talk to other humans, we don't automatically go into raising our voice. We don't automatically lift our hand to get some sort of result from them through force. We don't take things away and send them to bed without dinner. Like, we don't close the door in their face. Like, when you deal with an adult, you're not doing the things that you're teaching your child is okay to do. Like, when you deal with an adult, you talk to them with respect. You talk to them like, oh, this is a whole nother formed human with their own experiences, and they're living life, and they're doing their own thing. They're just not me, so I'm going to speak to them like a human. I'm going to ask them if they would like to if they want to help with cooking, if they want to help in the kitchen. I'm going to ask them their opinions on certain things. I'm going to involve them in certain big life decisions that may involve them. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have any discipline. Gentle parenting does not mean no discipline. Gentle parenting is just a different way of communicating your guidance to your child, apparently. And it's not even a different way. Again, like I said, it's like talking to a human. So I see all of these things online about people really getting upset with gentle parenting or blaming gentle parenting for being the reason that kids act out in public nowadays. Whenever you see a video of a kid, I saw a video of a kid throwing like wine bottles. This kid must have been 8 or 9, throwing wine bottles in a Walmart, and or having a huge tantrum, or like doing all of these really terrible things, just doing whatever they want. And the parent kind of just stands there like, hey, stop. That type of parenting, that is not gentle parenting. I will go into what that is. That is not gentle parenting. Gentle parenting does require discipline, and it requires firmness. It is as if you are talking to a boss talking to a coworker versus, obviously these are just general comparisons. It is not literally like that. Again, that's still a child that needs guidance and doesn't know very much. But that's kind of the point. Like, hello, this is a kid living for the very first time, is encountering the world from the very first time. They haven't experienced a fraction of what you as an adult have experienced. They have not gone through the trials and tribulations. They don't know everything. And when you have a gentle parenting relationship with your child, you are opening the door for them to communicate those issues to you. I kept so much to myself. And in terms of talking to my dad was not the person you go to when you had questions about things. He was not the person you go to when I wanted to kind of express myself, or I needed something. That's huge. what I really appreciate about gentle parenting is it felt safe. It felt like no matter what, I could talk to my mom about the things that I needed. I need new shoes. I need this signed. I would go to my mom for everything. My mom did not have the finance or the money to do, or the even the English to do some of the things I was asking. She would have to go to my dad. But because she was the person I trusted, I was like, you can talk to dad. I am gonna talk to you. And that is just how it was, because I knew that her style was not to come at me with anger or to come at me with, why do you need that? Or what, nothing like that. My mother was just like, what is this for? Can you tell me what this says? Blah, blah, blah. And I think, at least as a child, I tried my hardest. I'm sure there were definitely times when I took advantage of my mom's gentle heart, which obviously as a kid, you might do, but hopefully that wasn't common, because I don't remember it being common. But also there are cons to gentle parenting. One of the things is that you lose a lot of, I don't want to say this, if gentle parenting is done right, you and your child should have a level of respect for each other that is very strong. I think where my mom might have gone wrong is that there is this discipline associated with gentle parenting, but because my dad was just discipline, and like I said, authoritarian, like super, like that's the disciplinary in the house. He walks in, it was always discipline with him. Because of that, my mom was like completely the opposite. She was sweet and always a helping hand, always open-armed. And I think because of that, growing up, there is a little bit, she's the one I whined to. She's the one that kind of got the brunt of the teenage years, not the teenage years, like the young middle school years, she's the one who kind of got a little yelled at me by me if I, because there wasn't a fear associated with her. And there is a kind of a beauty in that, but there was no fear. And I feel like there was a part of me that didn't respect, and that's huge. That's a problem. And I feel awful looking back, but even if I was only a kid, I still wish that I loved my mom and I loved her, and even as a kid, like, of course I loved her. That was my mom. And but the older I got, the more I got in defense of her, and more I showed my honor, and which is something they instilled in me as well. But yeah, I didn't have that because of how my dad treated me. The fear that came from existing in a house with him was not respect. Just because he parented me that way, the harsh way, the disciplinary way, that was not respect, that was fear. And it works to keep your child in line or to get them to do what you want them to do. But it creates resentment that you don't even know is there until much, much later. Even if you and your child seemingly have a good relationship, there is something very deep, especially if it goes unaddressed. There is something very deep and unsafe about the person you are when your child thinks of you. And that's something I had to come to realize as I was much, much older. And it sucks because I look back and I'm like, that was not okay. Half the time I was just being a kid, or all the time I was just being a kid, and I was severely punished for it. But this video is not about authoritarian parenting. This video is about gentle and permissive parenting. Now, those videos that I was talking about earlier about kids throwing things in the store, throwing tantrums, kids seemingly telling their parents to shut up, and those kids have no respect for their parents. Respect has to be taught, and discipline is important to a child who is encountering the world for the first time, is understanding human relationships for the first time, is understanding the complexities, dynamics of different people. You don't speak to your mom the same way you speak to your best friend. You don't speak to a waiter the same way that you speak to your teacher. There's different ways to address different people. And that is something that your kids can learn, one, from watching you, and two, from you actually actively teaching them. Watching you is a big part, but actively teaching them is huge. Permissive parenting, I feel like I don't have the definition in front of me, but it is actually quite literally what people think gentle parenting is. And that is to kind of let your kids do whatever they want. And that is to be uninvolved, and it allows the kid to just run wild, and it can result in a lot of embarrassment and a lot of hurt from both sides. And here's a kid who thinks that their parents are being so mean for not letting them do something, and will react in a way that's just so outrageous and maybe even they're too old for that reaction, that is worrisome. And that is when you are beginning to lose what it is, because that doesn't just necessarily stop. Like sometimes it does, sometimes it does not. That doesn't necessarily stop when they grow up. There are plenty of kids who get well into their teen / early adult years who continue to disrespect and not see their parents as anything more than just the people who brought them onto the earth, which is fine, I guess, but that is how you raise them. If you are permissive, if you give your child whatever they want at the, snap of a finger, if you are the type of parent who is not willing to engage emotionally, intellectually, because that takes time and that takes effort. If it is far more easier for you, and this is coming from someone who works with children day in and day out and has for many, many years, along with like my whole background with my parents and fostering and all that. If you know, you know, but it is very fascinating because permissive parenting is, you can't necessarily, it is something that you can sometimes clock as an adult. If you meet an adult person who you feel like has never been told no in their lives, that might be the result of permissive parenting. And it sets kids up, in my opinion, for a much unhappier life, which I think is rude for a parent to do to a kid. And it's unintentional, but it's not active. And it sets a kid up to be, thrown into a world where they eventually be told no multiple times because of the things they've never been told no to. So they're getting a lot more pushback than a regular or a person with a different parenting style might have gotten. While again, this parenting style may allow for a lot of creativity, it may allow for a lot of independence and freedom, but it also puts your kid in a very dangerous / destructive place where they have this warped idea of what the world is and what the world is going to offer them, and that the world is going to somehow be like their parents. And it kind of it closes their world in a bit. As much as you feel like it's freeing it closes their world a bit, where they are going to encounter different things and they're not going to match up with what they were taught at home. And these things happen slowly, these realizations happen slowly, and people do learn and get out of those things or that type of thinking, but that doesn't always happen. That's not a guarantee. There are mothers, fathers who are afraid of their sons or daughters. They're afraid to upset them. They're afraid to change or tell them no. That's so worrisome. That is the place you do not want to be as a parent, where you're afraid of your child, you're afraid of saying no to your child. Or even if you do say no to your child, even as an adult, they give you a really strong and negative and scary reaction. That should not be happening. That should not be. Did a cat just meow? Oh my god. Guys, I want a cat really badly. I've been trying to figure out if I give more golden retriever or black cat. And I feel like I might be neither. Maybe I'm something else. I'm like a cat that acts like a dog. Yeah, or my dog that acts like a cat. No, I'm definitely a cat that acts like a dog. That's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But maybe I'm something else. But yes, this is why I wanted to discuss this today, because I have encountered all the parenting styles. Back to a little bit of the authoritarian. That definitely, in terms of how it set me up for adulthood, it definitely gave me a lot of insecurities, and it gave me a lot of fears that I didn't need going into adulthood, and it gave me a lot of anxieties about a lot of things that were super easy. I saw my friends, or I saw I saw other people walk into situations or walk into certain things that were super easy for them, and for me it was just so completely different. It's like I didn't know how to ask for help. It's like I didn't know how to engage in certain ways. I didn't know what was okay and what wasn't okay. On top of being authoritarian, it was a very strict religious household. You guys already know, but yes, that was the time. But yeah, I just wanted to really express what the difference between gentle parenting and permissive parenting is, because I'm sick of seeing it online where people are like, this is those gentle parenting parents, isn't it? See, this is why you need to hit your kid. No, No, that's just one, that's not what it is. And two, like, I don't think I'll ever be, I don't think I'll ever be supportive of people putting their hands on their child, because it does not make sense. Today or yesterday, it does not make sense. Like, why would you fight a 6-year-old? Why would you fight a 10-year-old? You're a grown person. You can't use your words. You can't figure out another way to express to your child. And if you were speaking to your child and talking to them at a young age, we're talking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then by the time that they're 10, 11, 12, they're not going to be in a position where they feel like that you're so angry. You know what I mean? Like, it's all like, it's work. It's so much work, but like, I don't know. Unless you were slapping a child's hand away from a hot stove, I really don't see how putting your hands on your child or putting any objects on your child is effective. It might be effective for a minute. Like, I got them to stop doing the thing because they're so scared of getting physically punished. It might stop them for the minute. That child grows, and the body has a hard time forgetting what it has been through. And maybe I shouldn't say that, but there are certain parts of you that kind of maybe remember the stuff that was done, and as much as you shove it down, either way, it's something that you risk the resentment of your child, and maybe you don't care, or maybe you're like, whatever, it's fine. When they grow up, they'll understand. Sure. But I've gotten the apology, so it doesn't always result the way you think it is. So anyway, okay, bye. I just wanted to share that.